at? Probably soccer, man. I'm really good at like I'm really good at like sports. Here's the thing with me. Anything that I put my mind to, I can usually do a decent job on, and I wind up being all anal about it, but uh, the hardest thing for me was probably musically, I would say would be singing. It's because it's something that it happens over time. You can sit there and try and try and try, and it's not going to happen, and then maybe in your third year, you start to sound like a good backup singer. And in your fifth year, you sound like a guy that might be able to be a lead singer someday. And in your eighth or 10th year, then you kind of start getting that lead singer thing down. Like myself, I think I'm just starting to get that lead singer sound going on. Other than that, it's kind of like Richie Sambora. He always sounds like a backup singer.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
matter how good the dude sings, when he does his own stuff, it doesn't, and I don't think Bon Jovi's great, but he doesn't, Bon Jovi still sounds like a lead singer, where Richie still sounds like a backup, singer trying to sing lead. I'm just getting to that point now where I think I have my own thing going on where it no longer sounds like, hey, the guitar player's trying to sing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's taken me years. It's taken me about 12 years. So, but as far as what I suck, yeah, I would say like soccer. So I'm pretty good at anything I put my mind to, But yeah, I would say soccer, and probably relationships, man. Relationships with chicks, because I'm so into myself. Not to say, I don't mean that egotistically or being self-centered, but I have this dream, and I don't want anybody to mess with that dream. I don't want any regrets. I don't want to be sitting in a chair when I'm like 70 or 80 and saying, I should have did this and I should have did that. I have no regrets in my life, bro. None, which is a great thing, and not too many people can say that. So I'm very, very happy with what I've done. The downside is you lose people that you really love. Or I mean, there's a few girls I should have married that were awesome that I screwed up. But when you have this dream, it's tunnel vision. I wanted to get a record deal. I knew I would never be a big star, but the record deals that I have are great. I have, in Europe and Japan, I've seen the world. I've got a chance to tour. I'm no big star, but it's enough for me. It paid my bills. It got me involved in the industry. It opened so many doors to where I'm doing what I'm doing now. And I'm still going to go out and play and tour and do stuff. I'm working on a new album right now. So it's for something like that. You either have to have a chick that is like totally into what you're doing and accepting that, or you got to make the trek alone, because you know how girls are. They need a little love and affection. They need a lot of love and affection usually, depending on what you get.
Like the
And
Nelson song.
yeah, and I just I don't want to hurt anyone, so I pass on that stuff and keep to myself. I like my work. I made a comment one time on your forum. I said, if there was a nuclear bomb on its way, to New Jersey right now, I'd be up in my studio with a bottle of wine, my dad, an acoustic guitar, and I'd just be wait to be dust doing, manipulating audio, doing something like that. So I'm right where I want to be for now.
Awesome, dude. Good answer. Um, all right. At this stage in your gig, what's the biggest challenges you face, like in the studio?
Hmm. The biggest challenge is trying to produce people, I think. Getting sounds is never a problem, no matter who the player is, what kind of horrible gear they lug in. I always seem to figure something out to where we get something good. I had a guy come in. I might have posted this on your forum too. I had a guy come in. I've never seen anything like it. The dude literally he must have had 40 pedals. I stopped counting at 25. And the dude, and I'm just looking and I'm shaking my head and I'm saying, man, this is going to be one of them days. I just know it. The dude's going to turn it on and it's going to go, and I wanted to hang myself before he even like plugged in. So he plugs in, he does his thing, and he goes to turn on, and it's exactly what I thought. I was like, oh, dude, come on. And he goes, oh, wait a minute. I know what the problem is. I'll go back out. He goes back out in the room, and he hooks up like 4 more pedals. I'm like, come on, man. I go into the talkback mic. I said, you're joking, right? And my own candid camera. Come on, please. Stop the insanity. And he looks at me and he laughs and he puts up one finger like Eddie Van Halen does before the jump solo, And all of a sudden, he plugs in these other 4 pedals, whatever they were, and this sound of God comes out of this amp. I
What?
could not believe it, man. The problem was he said he took some of the pedals and was using them for something else and forgot to hook them back up to the board. So all the noise and stuff we heard was, interrupted signal. There was, cords all unplugged and stuff. Hot cords, So he plugged everything in and this sound came out. I couldn't believe it. I just looked at the guy. I said, dude, I'm so sorry. He goes, sorry about what? I said, I was thinking you were a total loser and you were going to waste my time and I was going to have to give you your money back because I felt bad for you. Well, we had a laugh. We cracked up. And but it was a great sound. You just never know what you're getting into. So sounds I'm okay with, but actually trying to push someone that might not be, where they need to be to the next level, that's the challenge. You got a singer that's given his all and he just doesn't have it. And you don't want to start, melodyning him or anything, but you want to try to get that little something extra out of him. And that's always a challenge, but I do pretty well with that too, because I have a way of pumping people up and just, bringing the good out of them without bashing them. There's never any negativity in my world or in my studio. You just can't have it. Everything's about a laugh and like if somebody bends over and drops something, I'll mount them, man. I tell them that and they crack up laughing. Everybody has a sense of humor,
Hang on, you mount them when they're bent over. Is that what you said?
Yeah, man. I have alcohol preps that we have in the studio, and I'll open up a pack and I'll start scrubbing on his ass, and the dude's like, "Dude, what are you doing?" I said, "This is," and I show him the label. It says mounting prep, So I mean, we have a blast. It's all in clean fun. We have so much fun all the time. Everybody is they love working with me. They come back, and it's about having a sense of humor. I mean, there's some people that are very straight-laced and tight. I can't mess around with them. Some of the Christian guys or the ladies that come in. And, you got to be careful, but we have a really good time at all times. It's a great atmosphere. I love the people that come in, but sometimes, like I said, it is a bit challenging to pull that little extra out of them. Or you got a guy that's a guitar player and he knows that I play and he's like totally intimidated. He doesn't even want to play in front of me. I'm like, man, you're in the wrong business if that's what you're thinking. I said, if anything, I'm going to help you. I'm not sitting here thinking, oh man, this dude sucks, I can smoke him. I said, people that play that are decent never think that, man. We're not above anyone else. And I said, guess what? We came from the bottom of the barrel too. I said, dude, I don't even tune my guitar right. I tune to an open C chord. If you give me a guitar tuned in standard, I can't even play it. I don't know what I'm doing, so it's you just got to be a good people person and try to get the best performance out. And that to me has been the most challenging.
All right, now I have a specific question, and this is something I was toying with just the other night. I had a buddy, more electronic music stuff, and he's talking about this Skrillex snare drum, which is I hear it on metal to a similar effect, and it's clear that they're compressing the living hell out of the snare. Probably 10 millisecond attack, maybe 150 millisecond release. Kind of a long release for a snare. And what they're doing, at least the closest I've been able to come to it, is it sounds like they're just raping the 2-bus limiter. I mean, like that'd be the only thing even hitting the 2-bus limiter. Where they're talking like 9 or 10 decibels of reduction on that snare. What are your thoughts on this?
Tommy Lee does a little of that too, and I worked on a few little projects with him. He had some stuff opened up to the public to work with, and I actually got an invitation before it became public, so I got a chance to work with him and talk with him. And they do a lot of that stuff too, where they're slamming on that 2-bus. They were doing like minus 15 dB a gain. I don't know if I like that sound because to me it makes the snare sound big, but it loses the crack. Are you noticing that the punch is kind of gone? It sounds synthetic. The dynamics aren't quite there.
It definitely sounds synthetic, but I think it was compressing it so hard with that long release that it reduced a lot of that mush that kind of gets pulled up from the brick wall limiter.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but it was definitely fake.
That's the thing. You can get a really good sound, but then it starts to sound fake. So what you can do with that is once you get that sound, you're liking that crush sound or whatever, try mixing it in, with another sample. Is really cool. That hybriding thing is so great, man. You can actually make a snare drum out of the hybrids. I've done that. I've taken like a fat snare and put a piccolo on top of it and then a real snare on top of it and, kind of just mix them all together. And you can get some really trippy stuff, especially if you're like pounding that 2-bus or even if you're doing the parallel compression thing. And, it all depends what you're going for. I don't like to squash things unless it actually adds a difference for the better.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's pretty much genre specific. So I stay away from that unless I have to. I do it. It's not something I've ever been down with, because I just think it kills the dynamics, man. And not that we need to have a whole bunch of dynamics, especially in a balls to the walls like metal tune or a new breed metal or whatever they're calling it these days, modern rock. I just think the same snare hit every single time, sounding like a shotgun blast, it just gets old. It would be like if you and I wrote a song and I just sweep picked all like a broom from the time the song started till the end. That's what I think of these super crushed like drum sounds. They're always the same. You never hear the changes in them. You'll never hear the guy lightly do a little something, a little rudiment or a little ghost stroke. It's always a crack, and when I listen to stuff like that, you can't see me right now, but I'm doing like, how you cock a shotgun. I go bang, and then the bang is when the snare drum would hit, and people start cracking up laughing, because that's what it sounds like, a shotgun blast. Mm-hmm. And it's consistent. It never changes. So, I'm not against it, but I try not to go that route.
Well, what do you do if you're mastering and somebody sends in a clip where you have, the snare drum is 15 decibels louder than everything else or more, just some crazy, I mean, do you just go ahead and squash it like that, or does that require a talk? How do you handle that?
Everybody that I work with, I ask them not to go crazy with any tuba stuff, unless it's for effect purposes that, this is what our band is. This is our sound, because then they're doing my job. And most times they don't know what they're doing. So when they send me something that's heavily compressed or limited or whatever it is, it makes my job so hard. It's not worth me doing it, because there's nothing I can do. I can't uncompress. I can't treat anything, because when we master, the first thing we're going to do, of course, is I like to manually level the audio, get all the peaks out of the way. This is what makes you bring your mix louder. A lot of guys are, I put this limiter on and, I'm trying, I still can't get it loud. Well, that's because that limiter is reacting to the peaks in your material, and you're overusing the limiter. You're working that limiter way harder than it needs to be. So when you take care of all those peaks manually, the limiter is going to relax and it's really going to work the right way. So I try to tell everybody that, when you give me the squash thing coming in, there's nothing I can do. When I go to EQ that, I want to compress a little bit to keep the little peaks and valleys tight because of what I did. You've compressed already, so when I put my compressor on, it's doubling up. By the time I get to the limiting stage, it sounds like a piece of shit. So I try to tell them, please don't do that. Do what you have to do on your tracks. Do what you have to, but please leave everything off the master bus. Let me do that. If you need a little 2-bus glue, that's one thing, but don't send me cement or epoxy, because it just ain't going to work, man. So I always tell them, and if it happens, I tell them, you got to give me a remix. If they start giving me a problem, I say, listen, it might be best you go somewhere else, because I don't want to have to deal with that. I love my job. I love doing what I'm doing. When it becomes a job that I don't love anymore, or it becomes a job for the sake of a job, that's when I got to get out of it, man. That's because I don't like to just take money from people. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's fair. I have to be able to make a difference in your world for me to take on a job. And that's what I tell people, and when I send my little PDF, here's my mastering guidelines, and, this is what I would like to do. I'm telling them right there, here's our meeting. We can have a talk on the phone. This is how I would like to work. If you're not down with this, I'm not the right ME for you, and that's how I've been treating it. And I would say 10 out of 10 times I get a remix of the things that I don't like. They'll send it to me, because no ME does that. They send me the mix. I tell them everything about it. I said, listen, I think you got a little too much bass guitar, or, we're kicking a little bit too much, like maybe 60 hertz, or this is going on. And I fix it for them. I don't fix it, but I tell them what to do. So they give me a remix. And if it's still wrong, I tell them again. And they love that, I'm that extra set of ears. I want to give them the best master product that I can. And if I just take something, because they send it to me, it's not going to sound that good. And I tell them, can I give you feedback? Will you fix this, and this for me? I promise you at the end of the day, this will be a better mix. And they wound up learning to be a better engineer from that. So, that's how I run my business on that aspect.
That's what I've always considered to be the number one benefit from mastering, is you got this guy who knows what he's doing, who's got your back, and he's going to point out all these things that make you better. The checks and balances thing is absolutely huge, and maybe even more important than the processing that a mastering engineer actually do.
I agree. 100%. I agree with that, because you're only as good as the mix that you get. Sure, there's times where, I'll get a guy that'll call me up, or he'll stop in and he'll say, listen, we did this session. I don't have the mix, so I can't go back over it. I can't, there's nothing I can do. What can you do for this? So I'll give it a listen. And if I can improve it, I will. If not, I say, bro, I don't want to take your money. I can't do anything with this. It is so, in a state where I can't help it. I would just be taking your money for the sake of income. And I just can't do that, man. So you're right. When I can, stop somebody, at that threshold and say, listen, give me a remix on this, and let's fix this, and this. And I mean, I go all out, Brandon. I give them charts and graphs, and I show them everything. This is why this is happening, because you have this going on and that's going on, and we need to change that. So if you do this, and this, let's see how it sounds. Oh my God, Danny, it's great. I love it. Thank you so much. And I said, yeah, but you still got this wrong, so I'm still listening, or I'll hear a little artifact or something that I want them to fix, and it means a lot. That's why people come to me. No mastering engineer does that. They take your stuff, they master it, it's out the door. And you're just next. Who's next? I don't want to be like that, man. It's just not right. You're not giving people the right service. You want them to sound great. And when I stamp my name on something, I want to be proud that I worked on that. Mm-hmm. So that's another reason why I do what I do. And it separates me from the other guys that are out there. That extra set of ears that's actually helping you before you get to the mastering stage.
Yeah, I've got to say that I've had a few not so great mastering experiences going elsewhere, and it kind of has pushed me in this. Well, if they're not going to help me, I'm going to have to figure it out myself. Business, but right. So it's nice knowing that a dude takes it that seriously, where they want to help you, actually help the person, as opposed to this, mass production.
Definitely. Try me sometime, man. I give you and everybody on your site that needs me a discount. Every person that's come to me through you, I give them a discount. So if there's anything you ever need, man, let me know.
Awesome. All right, here my last question.
We're done? We're just getting hot, man.
Yeah. You were hot right from the beginning, I think. All right. Yeah, you must be a genius at time management with all the tasks that you do in a day. What do you do? What do you know now about time management that you didn't know when you were 20?
It's that's really a great question. I've been operating on autopilot since, I don't know, probably 25. I'm 45 now. I think that you have to just learn to. Wow, I don't even know how to start to answer that. It's really. Because I am on autopilot. I just go right through the motions. So I wasn't as busy then as I am now. So you kind of one day wake up and you're in this different realm to where you have no other choice but to say, okay, these are what I have to do today. You schedule your jobs, you do what you have to do, and you stick with it. Nothing is allowed to get in your world. That is the one thing that I have learned. When I commit to something, nothing else is important unless, God forbid, a death in the family or severe illness, or I lost one of my computers in a storm. There's nothing you can do in situations like that. But I stick to my deadline. I'm so far ahead of my corporate jobs that I have, I'm 2 weeks ahead of schedule on most of my jobs. This gives me time to do the walk-ins, because the walk-ins are going to pay you COD. My big corporate jobs are 30, 60, 90 days. I just landed something with the FBI where we're doing, forensic audio, which that's really cool. I had a friend, in the prosecutor's office that sent me some work, and he said, dude, can you bail me out? I said, yeah. He says, if you can, we'll give you the work here. So I'm, doing the law enforcement thing. And, then the next thing you know, he says, I got this friend from the FBI. So we're doing work there, and, it all comes in. And the next thing you know, you want to just, delegate things the right way. The things that are super important, you want to try to get them done as fast as you can, so you can have that time open to maybe do something. Hey, I'm going to go take my dad out to dinner, or I'm going to go, go do something, or I play in a cover band too. So I have to plan for that, and I usually lose money when I do the cover band thing, because they don't pay you much to do that. Where I could be home in the studio making a bunch of money, but I just keep going, and until it's done. So I'm usually here from 6 o'clock at night until Well, I'm actually home now. I got, the other engineers are running the other two studios right now, but I have, it's usually 6 o'clock till like, I don't know, man, 10 in the morning, 11 in the morning. And that's usually when I start to like, tucker out, where I say, okay, I think enough is enough, but I love it. And you know how it is. You have no essence of time, really. It's you just don't know what's going on because it goes so fast, and then one day leads to the next. Like, I start talking to you, I'll start doing a job. The next time I look at the clock, it's 2:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I'll work on another job, and my dad will call me and say, "Yo, you coming home for breakfast?" So, so I'll go and do that, and then I'll come back, and it's just one thing runs into the next, and you just deal with it as it comes along. But I keep my personal life out of it because I don't have one. That's another thing. You're married now. You got a baby on the way. Congratulations.
Thank you.
On both counts there. So things are going to be a little different for you. But with me, I have nothing else. This is all that I have, and not many people, have that luxury. And it's both a blessing and a curse because you have no life. But it's one that I chose, and it's one that I enjoy for now. I'm content. Every day is a different day here. Whether I'm doing mastering, I'm producing somebody, I'm doing consultations, we're recording people, the forensic audio stuff, or whatever it is, DVD creation, we do everything. And, every day is a different day. It's cool. It's not the same old. I'm always dealing with kids coming in, and I dread every minute of it. I let the other guys handle that. The studio down the shore, they're handling all the live acts now, so, but yeah, you just gotta do it and prepare your life for business. Basically, is another thing that I learned. If you're gonna have a successful business, you got to deliver the goods. You got to be on time. You don't lie to people. You be as honest as you can, and you do the job, man. You have everything ready to go, and time passes by quickly. And you just keep moving on, and that's really the best I can say. I know it's probably not answering your question, and I just babble on.
Not even close.
But that's how I deal with it, man. I don't have anything else to do with my life. That's basically it. Where you do, between family, wife, all that stuff. I don't have any of that. My mother passed away. It's me and my dad. I'm not married. I don't have any kids. Most of my family has moved. I don't hang out with any of my friends anymore. Other than a few select here and there. So I have the time to do all the things that I do, and I have nothing but time. So that's what makes it easier for me.
I know the old lady, she had an unexpected night with her friends or whatever, and it was like a free time where, like, I think I already worked like 10 or 12 hours that day, and then she left, and I was like, because I could just, and it was like, I don't know, my birthday, Christmas, I was so excited I could just play with my toys, even longer, so I can kind of feel you on having that extra time. It sure is awesome, and it's a challenge not having it sometimes.
Right. And it's, it's difficult too. I mean, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. Sure, I would love to settle down and have a family. I mean, and do all the cool things that everybody else is doing and take a vacation. But I've been there, done that. And, I'm happy where I am right now. I'm content, I guess you can say, for now. That could change at any time.
Well, there's no reason to overthink it.
Exactly right, Brandon. I live for today because there might not be a tomorrow. And if this is what makes me content and I love what I'm doing, I'm only fooling myself to do something else, or you know how it goes. You ever take a vacation? You can't wait to get home to get this, to get back to this.
Last year was rough.
Right?
I went on vacation and I was kind of an asshole the whole time.
Yeah, because you can't turn this off and on like a television set. And most of the wives don't understand that. They think that, we just want to spend time away from them, or we want to, we're stuck in our ways. It's like a drug, man. I can't turn it off and on. I love it. I can't wait to get back here or play my guitar or whatever I feel like doing. Or, I'm on this Xbox kick now when I'm rendering, audio or video or whatever, I'll fire up my Xbox and I'm on this racing team. We play Forza racing, it's a blast. So, I mean, I love to be able to have that kind of time to do that. Or I have so many computers here. I start rendering a job and I'll start working on something else. And when that's done, start rendering that job, move to another station and do that. I have them all networked together so I can just send, do this, do that, up, send something down to the other studio down the shore. Fine, bang, send it, So, it's nice to have that capability, and that helps with managing the time too. Having a proper business plan, keeping things on schedule, and you just roll right through it.
Awesome. You answered that perfectly, I think. Well, this has been an incredible interview here. I want to say thanks to Danny for being so generous with his tips and knowledge and time and all that. Now you've got a lot of things you're up to. You got your studio, which you're obviously busy, where you're tracking bands, and then you do a lot of mastering via the web, clients, right?
Yeah, I have a lot of them, and walk-ins, the whole 9 yards. Yep. Yep. I got a cover band. I got an original band. I'm working on my own album. I only get a chance to work on that once a week. So it's going a little slower than I had anticipated, but it's working out real well. I teach martial arts on Sunday. So it's just, it's always something going on, always into that. And you just keep going the best you can, but yeah, we got a lot going on. It's all good stuff, and it's never a dull moment. That's for sure.
All right, dude. I guess that concludes our interview. I just wanted to say thanks for hitting a grand slam here. You did awesome.
Thank you, man. I thank you so much for thinking of me and asking me to do it. I had a blast, man. I was wishing it was going longer, but that's all right. How long can you hear me babble on and on and on? It's like, dude, your posts are bad enough. Thank God we don't have to hear you talk, for crying out loud. So thank you very much, and thanks to all your guys on the forum for accepting me and being extra cool to me, and for any business that they sent my way. Because I've made a lot of friends on there too, some really, really good friends. And so I thank you for that. Thank you for the site and all that you do. And you rule, man.